$2 million is now available for students faced with putting higher education on hold due to the coronavirus. Today, First Hawaiian Bank and the Hawaii Community Foundation launched the Stronger Together Hawaii Scholarship Fund. The money will go to Hawaii's 2020 public school senior class, now pursuing college or job training. Priority will be given to students from low to middle income families. And you know, it's not just the scholarship fund. At a time of great need, the Hawaii Community Foundation has stepped up to help many hit hard during the pandemic. And joining us live to talk more about the foundation's mission is President and CEO Micah Kahani. Aloha, Micah. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, hello, Steph. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, the foundation has teamed up with many organizations to help Hawaii residents in need. What is the goal of HCF and the Hawaii Resilience Fund, and how did they come together?
Well, the Hawaii Resilience Fund was our response to the COVID pandemic. On March 18th, we launched the fund. In the first 48 hours, we had our first grants out the door to nonprofits helping families that were in need. Within 30 days, we raised over $10 million. We're up over a little over 11 million, and I've already gone and put out over $9 million in grants to nonprofits serving our community.
Well, with that said, you know, we mentioned the Hawaii Scholarship Fund earlier for high school graduates in need. What other programs have your grants so far been able to help fund in our community?
You know, I think that one specifically, First Hawaiian Bank's launched today, and them as a partner was incredible. I mean, their ability to step forward and partner with us to focus on high school kids that really got dealt a bad deck, bad hand. I mean, them stepping up was really good. Bank of Hawaii early on with the Rise Resiliency partnership with the City County of Honolulu and the Hawaii Foodbank. You've seen some of that coverage over at Aloha Stadium where we're able to feed over 8,000 families every week. That's still going on right now. I think the two corporate partners there, Bank of Hawaii and First Hawaiian Bank, really stepped up. University of Hawaii has been also a really good partner in our efforts over the past few months. But I think the nonprofits really have stepped up in our community. They're very resilient. We have the opportunity to work with them. Over the year, we support hundreds of nonprofits every year. So the ability to just get resources to them quickly to serve families and the needs of Hawaii was very helpful, we think.
Yeah, a lot of this made in possibility by these partnerships. So how has the foundation been able to also help reduce the spread of COVID and protect our frontline workers as well early on?
Yeah, early on, that was a real focus for us, was to try to support our first responders. We did a lot of childcare support for first responders, trying to support those families. We also tried to fill gaps where government was not. We did a lot of early testing, a lot of support in quarantining. A lot of PPE were funded into the first responder community and to those social service providers that were hitting some of our vulnerable community. We have a lot of strong subject matter experts within our team that knew how to penetrate those areas of need. So we're very fortunate.
And you know, Micah, it's been more important now than ever to stand together now, which is the theme of our special broadcast tomorrow on Sunrise. What do you think Hawaii will look like on the other side of the coronavirus crisis if we can all stand together, all come together right now?
Well, going into COVID, you know, we were already a pretty fragile community. 1 out of every 2 families was considered an ALICE family, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. When COVID hit, it really exacerbated those outlier issues that we were struggling with. So we don't want to go back to what we were. We should be leading ourselves out into an economy that is much more resilient, that is much more equitable to our middle and lower income families. I think we have an opportunity to design that and to be a much more resilient community for everyone.
And we know that without donations, a lot of the community outreach services and programs, the scholarships would not be possible. Where can people go to learn more or to give?
Yeah, as generous as our community has been, there's a big need. The First Hawaiian Bank partnership of $2 million is just a small piece of what's going to be needed to serve our graduates. Please go to the hawaiicommunityfoundation.org website. There's an opportunity to give there. You can go to hawaiiresiliencyfund.org to give there, and you can also see up on your on your page right now, you should see a PayPal address that you can also make a contribution to.
All right, Micah Kahani of the Hawaii Community Foundation, mahalo to you and your staff. We really appreciate all the work that you do to help those in need at this time.
Mahalo, Steph. Appreciate all you folks are doing as well.
Hey, thank you so much.
The Cook Foundation is one of Hawaii's oldest family organizations. This year, they awarded $1 million in grants to 101 Hawaii nonprofits. Here to talk more about this is the president and trustee, Gregory Wren. Good morning to you, Gregory.
Good morning, Grace. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you for being here as well. You know, what an incredible feat to give that much money to so many different nonprofits. I'm curious, though, how this pandemic has changed the way that you have had to give out money or change your actions at all.
Well, as you mentioned, this is our 100th anniversary this year, and we had already been planning to distribute $1 million in special Centennial Grant Awards to 101 nonprofits in June. We were going to have a really big ceremony to award plaques and give out these $10,000 checks. When COVID-19 hit, we realized that we really needed to expedite these payments to get that money out into the community as soon as possible. So we did that. By the middle of April, we got those checks sent to these nonprofits a good 2 months in advance so they could use it right away.
During these times when you see such a large part of the population losing their jobs and the economy slowing down, this has got to be a tough time for nonprofits, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're really struggling. You know, when COVID-19 hit, for many of them, their income absolutely dried up. It just completely went to nothing. And so these checks that we sent to them really were helpful in the fact that they could just pay the rent if they needed to, or just to keep going. So it truly has been a devastating time, and especially sometimes to organizations that might not be at the forefront of our minds in a health crisis, like arts and culture, or education, or environmental causes. These are all still organizations that need to operate during this pandemic.
Right. I think there's a lot of focus on just those basic needs, but there's so many nonprofits out there. Is there anything we can do to help out, Gregory?
Oh, absolutely. You know, for those of us who have the ability to give something, I think just think of your favorite charitable organization, whether it be a musical organization or a museum or environmental cause, whatever it might be, send them a few dollars. Anything can help. And, you know, not just the money, but just the spirit of giving. I think it's a real boost to organizations' morale to get donations during these really difficult times.
All right, Gregory Wren from the Cook Foundation, we appreciate your time and all that you do for our community.
My pleasure. Mahalo, Grace.
All right, so if you have the ability, we are asking you to make a donation to help our friends and family in Hawaii in any way that you can, either for Gregory's organization or here to the Hawaii Community Foundation and the Hawaii Foodbank. It is fast and easy to do. We'll be right back.
Good morning from the Hawaii Food Bank. Of course, today an important day as Hawaii stands together. Let's go ahead and show you what we've got at the food bank. The big doors are closed. You can't see it. That's past these pallets here, but you can see that there's food here on these shelves. Of course, there's going to be a lot of food distributed at Aloha Stadium today, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring your attention over to shelves like these that are bare. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on this morning as we talk about the Hawaii Food Bank. And once again, as we talked to Ron Mizutani a little bit earlier, CEO, he says that money donations, they can stretch that dollar because they buy in bulk. Let's talk about something else for just a moment here. A small local company is answering the call for medical ventilators, and they want to share their invention with the world. Guy Hoggy has more.
Ready.
The Kahani group is a small hui of friends.
Here, I'll just shoot a quick video of Mika.
Smart friends from the medical field, Google, and Tesla, who put their brains and talent together to help fill a critical need during the coronavirus pandemic.
When COVID-19 first started hitting Hawaii, a doctor reached out to me and said, we're really short on ventilators, so I got some engineered friends together, and we've been working 7 days a week designing and building a ventilator here for Hawaii.
The device is amazingly simple, locally built, and free for the world to copy its computer-free design.
Well, this machine is almost completely mechanically driven. So there's no computer. It's very easy, it's very simple to build. It can take some abuse. It can be built by almost any country, especially here, it works quite well.
The last hurdle for the group is FDA approval.
The engineers are doing a very thorough job, and we have some very, very bright people doing the testing.
So this has been running for 4 hours straight?
So mechanically, we're not going to have a problem with it, but as far as proving what this ventilator will do in what circumstances, for what level of patient care, I think it's going to do very, very well.
Like any great project, teamwork was essential, and Kahani has benefited from some crucial partnerships which are vital in funding the project. Remember, conventional ventilators can cost upwards of $50,000 apiece.
With everything, it takes a village, and we have a pretty fantastic village. And with all of the volunteer work, probably adding up to millions of dollars in talent, there are still expenses that we have to cover. Thanks to the Hawaii Community Foundation and its Resilience Fund, they were able to fund 200 of these ventilators, which will allow us to just basically donate them to hospitals all across the state.
To support Hawaii Community Foundation and the work it is doing to support local nonprofits, you can donate on their website, via PayPal, or you can mail a check to their address on Fort Street Mall.
Hawaiian Community Assets is offering loans and counseling for families during this pandemic. Jeff Gilbreth joins us now to talk more about this organization. Good morning to you, Jeff.
Morning. Nice to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. I'm not sure if we're going to have technical issues or not, but I did want to ask you this question because it sounds like...
So a little bit about our organization. Yeah.
Go ahead.
About our organization, Hawaiian Community Assets has been providing emergency loans and financial counseling to families in need. Right now we're excited and really moving fast on that front to help get folks, workers, self-employed individuals, emergency money so they can continue to move forward.
So if I'm having trouble trying to make ends meet, is your organization the one I would come to try to find some money to tide me over?
Our organization works very closely with all the partners out doing services in the community, and so we are one of many. We typically serve those individuals who have some type of income. It could be unemployment income and some temporary income. If they've been shut out of credit unions and banks who can't serve them at this time, those are really the folks who should be coming to us. If folks are houseless, kapuna, and don't have income at this time, we encourage them to go seek emergency grants from groups like Aloha United Way through 211. And so everybody can kind of do their part, but those are the type of folks who should be coming to us.
Is there a phone number or a website that people can go to for more information on how they can get help? Because I think this has been the big barrier recently.
Yeah, actually the best way to reach us is all of our emergency loan applications are online at hawaiiancommunity.net. Folks can apply from their own home, upload all their financial documents. We try and make it a streamlined process. They can also find our phone number for our direct line, and we do have statewide offices. We are going to be launching actually today as we speak the Hawaii County Emergency Resilience Loan Program. That's about $250,000 that'll go out to workers and self-employed folks who've lost income due to COVID. So if anybody is on the program today, listening, watching, go to hawaiiancommunity.net.
Okay, so Jeff, we're having some technical problems here, so I apologize to everyone out there about that. But it sounds like Hawaiian Community Assets is launching a new program. If you believe that maybe you could qualify for one of these loans, the best way, he's saying, to get information is to go to hawaiiancommunity.net. Jeff, thank you for your time today and for being here on Sunrise.
Hey, thank you so much.
In the meantime, Billy is live at the food bank this morning. Billy.
Thank you very much, Grace. And just to let you know, Casey, the trucks that were here at the Hawaii Food Bank, they've just left. They are on their way to the stadium right now. We're talking story with some of our Hawaii small businesses. As a matter of fact, right now joining us, this is Max and Tiana Hanneman, their father and daughter. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Happy to be here.
Now, Max, you are a yoga teacher, right? How long have you been teaching yoga?
Over 5 years.
How did you get involved, real quick?
Just was taking classes and decided to become a teacher.
Okay, so you are teaching yoga classes, but then COVID-19 happens. What happens with you?
So the studio shut down, getting a lot of requests from people, hey, how can we still take classes? We miss your classes, we want to work out. So my daughter and I decided to teach the classes together online. Instagram, we created a YouTube channel. We teach 4 classes a week, and just a way to give back, free classes, where people can just get off the couch, get their exercise in during these times right at home in their private setting.
Okay, talking about giving back, Tiana, come on up to the microphone. You come back from college on break, and so you're helping out, but you wanted to give back. Explain that.
Yes, so I'm actually fortunate enough to be an HCF college scholarship recipient, so I wanted to pay that forward. And in one of my classes, I decided to match the number of viewers in monetary value. So I had about 80 students, so I decided to donate $80. But through the night, people started matching me, Venmoing me, saying, hey, I want to contribute to your donation. So it rounded up to about $480. That was the first round of donations. And then through the next week, people heard about it more and kept Venmoing me. So we got up to over $600.
Okay, and you decided to donate to the Hawaii Community Foundation.
Yeah, the Resilience Fund.
Okay,
for COVID, yeah.
Got it. So now, Max, let's bring you back in.
Sure.
To see that your daughter wants to donate like this, how does it make you feel?
Oh, always a proud daddy moment. She's very good at doing that, making you feel proud, and perfect example of where it's better to give than to receive.
All right, if somebody wants to find you online, where do they find you?
Either on our Instagram, Max Hanneman, Tiana Hanneman, or our YouTube, Max and Tiana.
All right, once again, Max and Tiana Hanneman here, and if you want to give, if you can, we want to remind you, you go to the website, hawaiinewsnow.com, and if you want to see this interview again, there is a special section there where you can go ahead and do that. Hawaii stands together. Hawaii News Now Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Things are starting to get pretty busy behind us. The hundreds of volunteers that show up to these are putting things in place to get the food to the families in need. But we're also talking about the Hawaii Community Foundation and the work that they do and they're able to support. I want to introduce Senate President Ron Kochi with me here this morning. And we're talking about distance learning on the garden aisle. Ron, tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing there to assist students that really need some help right now.
Well, it became clear with the national news that we may be in distance learning when we start the next school year, and we were very concerned that our students have all of the tools and resources necessary to succeed. In talking to the complex area superintendent, his successor, the 15 principals, within a week they got us some quick data. It showed that less than half of the students were actually engaged in distance learning. Just yesterday, the Hawaii Community Foundation approved an initial of $100,000 grant to assist us in 3 areas. And that money will be used to be a matching fund, and we have other interested donors. So first, we'd like to get training for our teachers so they become better distance learning teachers. Second, we have connectivity issues, and so we're looking at acquiring enough hotspots to make sure that each student has connectivity. And last, we need to be sure that every student has devices. The Kauai district is blessed to have over 90% one-to-one or computers for each student, but every year there's a certain amount that is going to break and needs to be replaced, needs to be reconditioned. So we need an annual fund to take care of making sure that we've got working devices for all of our students.
And when we think about the money that we've been having to spend on food distributions and everything that the Hawaii Community Foundation is doing, that money is running out. And so we are asking for folks' support, both for the Hawaii Foodbank and the Hawaii Community Foundation. We have a section on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com where you can donate to both. Again, we want to remind folks before we go one last time that the food distribution is going to start at 10. You really can't get here until 7 o'clock this morning. They're asking folks not to line up early. You'll be allowed in. HPD has a great system to get folks in here, and the food bank has organized their volunteers really well. So all that food gets organized, distributed, handed out pretty quickly, but you will have to wait. Again, they do ask that people don't show up before 7 o'clock. We'll send it back to the studio for now.
We're here with a man that needs no introduction, Bob Harrison, the president and CEO of First Hawaiian Bank. And Bob, we're talking to this morning leaders from businesses that have done their part to really give back. Before we get to what First Hawaiian Bank has done, and it's been a lot, you're also the chair of a committee that's helping us reopen the economy. Where are we with this?
Yeah, so the committee I'm on is Hawaii Community Foundation, Hawaii Executive Conference. And what we tried to do is work private-public partnership to help work with the state, develop a plan to safely reopen. And thankfully got that done. The governor's adopted the plan, and we're ready to start at the governor's direction soon.
Yeah. Obviously, it's very difficult because you have so many different things to balance. You know, how difficult was it to come up with a plan?
Well, there's a medical side, and then there's making it so people feel comfortable with it. And there's a whole range of, are we comfortable on the medical side? Are we comfortable on the business side? And really working to pull that together was super important because you don't want to leave out either. Nobody wants to take a chance with people's health. Yeah. That's first and foremost. But you also need to start reopening so people can get back to work.
Yeah. And obviously, we're going to see how that works out, and I know you're meeting with the governor and other state lawmakers. First Hawaiian Bank, though, has done a lot. Let's talk about this scholarship that was recently developed with Hawaii Community Foundation.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So, I mean, this is something that, honestly, I did when I was at UH. I took a break in between, you know, high school and college, and this is a scholarship to really help kids who are graduating today find a path, get some counseling, get support from both ourselves and Hawaii Community Foundation, create a $2 million fund that can be non-traditional, not just tuition, not just expenses, but also daily life. You know, how do I pay my rent? How do I get bills? So you can apply for money that isn't just the normal tuition assistance.
Yeah, and it goes without saying that this is more important now than in recent years, right? I mean, this is incredibly important.
It's a really tough time. Families are struggling, kids are struggling. They're trying to decide what should I do after high school. Their high school graduation got abbreviated. They didn't get to go through the ceremony. They might have missed their counseling. So UH has really stepped up to help on the counseling. We're stepping up with a little bit of money with Hawaii Community Foundation. Together, they need to decide because they're our future, and we want the ones that want to go to school to be able to go to school.
Yeah, and what's the ultimate goal in this?
Is educate Hawaii's kids.
Yeah, excellent. We need them. We need you. Bob Harrison, thank you very much for your time. President and CEO of course, First Hawaiian Bank. We're going to make this really easy for you because, of course, we're all in this together. That's what this is all about. So after the show, we're going to make a quick link for you on hawaiinewsnow.com so that you can make your donation if you do, of course, have the means to. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Thanks a lot, Bob. Great work done by First Hawaiian Bank. Now, as far as the winds, there's not a whole lot going on right now. Bull ahead for many spots.
Hawaii News Now Sunrise. Hawaii stands together. I'm down here at the Hawaii Food Bank where right now they are loading up a truck. This is part of their regular trucks that go around the island and bring food. some of their Ohana distribution. The trucks that are going out to the Aloha Stadium have already left the building. This is just one of the many organizations that are making a difference in the community during this COVID-19 crisis. Grace Lee has more.
So many nonprofits have really stepped up in the last couple of months, Lanakila Pacific being one of many. You may know it best for its Lanakila Meals on Wheels program, but it started a new one to fill a new need during this pandemic. We want to bring in the executive director, Rona Fukumoto, to talk a little bit more about healthy mothers, healthy babies. Now, this is a whole new program. How did this come about, Rona?
We've been serving seniors, but we knew there are other vulnerable groups out there. When she mentioned her need for food for newborn mothers with newborns or mothers with young children, we thought that we could help. And so we set about trying to find funding, making sure our kitchen could manage the increase, and we're so happy that we're able to do so. So when we found out there was a need, we went directly to Hawaii Community Foundation, and we asked if there was any possibility of them helping to fund this initiative, and they were happy to do so. We started off with 50, and we will, by the end of the whole project, have served 200 new mothers.
Sheena is a new mom. She has a young son who's not even 2 months old. What are some of the challenges that you face as a mom during this pandemic?
So a lot of the challenges usually is going out, trying to get groceries, or with family members who's working right now and not being able to have them see the baby because you're just so cautious of who they interacted with.
How much has this program helped you?
This program helped me a lot. So one thing about Healthy Mothers, Healthy Baby, they ask you of what resources you need, and Lanakila Meals was one of it. I didn't know the process of it in the beginning, but they're really technology-wise, they'll text you when the food is there. So they come and deliver the food to your home, and that saves me a lot of time. So I don't have to get baby ready, and I can just worry about talent rather than the meals coming to me, which is a lot. They actually give a lot of food, so.
I wanted to bring in John Bryant from Ham Produce. And what I wanted to highlight here, John, is kind of this partnership that we're seeing between the nonprofits and a company like yours, a for-profit company, working on this program. How did this happen?
You know, back in April, the USDA came up with a program called Farmers to Families Box Program. And if you think about our local farmers here, we have a big harvest that's going to be coming up to take care of all our visitors that are going to be coming to the state, which now we don't have. And that would all go to waste. And we have so many families in need that need food. So Ham Produce and Seafood is going to be distributing over 96,000 food boxes that has local produce and frozen meat to families throughout the state. So we work with the farmers, we work with nonprofits like Lanakila Pacific to get the food to needy families done properly and safely from now until June 30th.
All right, so there you have it, this new program, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, has started making a huge difference for our community. So we thank all those involved. We're going to take a short break. You're watching Sunrise on Hawaii News Now. All right, let's try that again with Kauai County Council member Mason Chalk talking about something very important, mental health. Good morning to you.
Aloha, good morning.
I think there is a slight delay, just so you're aware. So I just want to ask you pretty in general about the Kauai Resilience Project and what you're seeing on Kauai as far as the demands on mental health. It's got to be tough out there.
Well, absolutely. You know, we've experienced some real issues on Kauai over the past few years. The Kauai Resiliency Project is a project that was started a year ago. It brings together a collective action of about 30 partners from the community, nonprofit and private, to build resources for the community. And as you know, during this time with our COVID-19 era, we've experienced even an uptick in some of our mental health issues. So, you know, about a year ago, based on the Kauai, the youth report, what we came to find is that about 1 in 11 youth between the ages of 15 to 24 attempt suicide every year. And so our intention is to cut that number in half in the next few years. We also are seeing about a third of our high school kids reporting a feeling of sadness and worthlessness for an extended period of time. And we're also seeing that nearly 1 in 5 middle school or high school youth are reporting to have no stable relationships or at least one caring adult, which is probably the most critical need to build resiliency. So, what we've decided to do is to come together and really support each other as an island. And so we've launched efforts to increase safe places for kids to gather and support programs of resiliency, like Boys and Girls Clubs leaders in training program. We've also launched a few programs or campaigns that are called Kauai's Kids Are Your Kids and You Got This, which is to reduce the stigma and offer solutions to adults who want to help. So we encourage people and families eating dinner together, spending time together, checking in with each other. Most recently, we put together along with partnering with the DOE, the grab and go meal service that's happening statewide, disseminating information that will support mental health access and safety needs at this time.
Yeah, it's such an important service to offer, especially during this time. Mason, we appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us about this.
No, absolutely. Thank you for spreading the word. All it takes is, I think, just to check in with each other, even just saying hello, picking up the phone, always can go very far. And, we have a list of services we do. I'd love for people who are interested in learning what we're trying to get done to visit keiki2career.org. That's keiki2career.org.
All right, that's Councilmember Mason Chalk talking about mental health issues. Of course, this is happening really across the state and across the nation. We appreciate everything you have done for our community, and we thank you for your time. Let's go to Billy V. He is live at the Hawaii Foodbank today. Billy.
Thank you very much, Grace. With COVID-19, there have been the economic effects and the health effects. We've talked a lot about that, but there have been other effects as well. We have with us this morning Nalani Fujimori, who's the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Society of Hawaii. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Thank you for being with us. For those that are not familiar with Legal Aid Society of Hawaii, what do you do?
So we provide essential legal services, especially during a time of pandemic. Our organization was founded in 1950, and we have 10 offices statewide, including offices on Molokai Lanai. We provide services in family, consumer, housing, public benefits, and immigration, and have specialty programs that work to support the kupuna, children in the child welfare system, seniors, we also do homeless outreach, which is one of our big services, as well as serving victims of crime and victims of domestic violence.
Now, with COVID-19, what has changed?
For us, what's really changed is that we've seen an increase in calls around housing and unemployment issues. As an organization, people are facing systems that they've never encountered before, government systems and the legal systems. And so the issues that we've really seen are people not being able to apply for unemployment, especially those with language access barriers or don't have access to computers. And we've also seen really an increase in threats of eviction or concerns of eviction. With the governor's moratorium, some landlords, because they just don't know what to do, are taking it into their own hands and locking gates and garages. We've seen cases where they've taken doors off of houses to get access.
Wow.
And we want to let landlords know that it's really not something that they should be doing and that they can face consequences in court. We also want to let tenants know that if they do get calls or someone tells them that they're going to be evicted, especially now when there's a moratorium in place, to please call our organization so that we can help them.
Now, I want to go back to unemployment for a little bit, because you actually have on your website step-by-step for unemployment, right?
We do have a step-by-step guide that's always having to be updated. It's interesting. I was talking to our managing attorney in that area yesterday, and unemployment completely changed their application. So we're always having to, as an organization, that really is our job, is to try to make sure that new information is out there as soon as possible when things change. And so we still have the information up there about how to fill out the application. But again, we continue to find ways to kind of reach out to our community.
If someone needs to reach you, more information?
Yeah, they can reach us on our website, www.legalaidhawaii.org, or call our intake hotline from 9 to 11:30, 1 to 3:30 at 536-4302 or 1-800-499-4302.
That's a lot of information and a lot of numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this interview. We have a special section, Hawaii Stands Together, on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com.
Hey, good morning, Lacey. And things are really just about to get started here in the next hour or so. Cars are already lining up at the food distribution here at the Aloha Stadium with the Hawaii Community Foundation and the Hawaii Foodbank. But we're talking about some other things here as well, how we're reaching out and helping our community. Christine Kishimoto with the Department of Education, Superintendent of Public Instruction. Tell me, Superintendent, you guys have also been assisting with food for the families that really rely on DOE meals, and you guys just crossed a pretty big landmark.
Yes, so first of all, I just want to acknowledge Ron Mizuno behind me with Hawaii Foodbank. Tremendous work. He works with us all year round supporting our families. We have been providing food to our kids, 18 years of age and under, throughout the state. We just served our millionth meal. We will continue to serve our community. We have partners like the Food Bank who serve adults while we serve the kids.
Yeah, and Superintendent, along with the meal service you guys are providing and helping with, you're also really taking on a big challenge, and that is distance learning. One of the things that we want to talk about that DOE is working on is mobile learning labs.
Yes, so imagine 180,000 students educated in classrooms now having to be educated via distance learning. This is a huge shift. We are supporting our families by also putting some of the learning on mobile hubs, bringing learning into community. So we have 4 mobile hubs that we are testing out this summer. We're going to be in Molokai, we're going to be in Hana, we're going to be on Big Island. So the idea is to bring learning into community as well as providing distance learning.
And that's wonderful. I can't imagine, like you said, a huge undertaking. Another thing that DOE is trying to tackle right now is reaching out to homeless youth and providing education. Can you tell me about the YES Project?
So we have this fantastic project called the YES Project. We have been providing services to 3,000 homeless youth during this 4th quarter. Now we're going to put this into the YES Project and bring mobile labs for our homeless youth. Imagine 3,000 young people who need supports beyond the school day. So we're providing education, we're providing devices, we're providing food, we're partnering up with other nonprofits for showers and so forth.
And lastly, before we go, one other thing that you need parents to know about is a parent survey. We're trying to figure out where we have some connectivity issues as well, correct?
So we know not everyone has a device at home, not everyone has connectivity at home. We have to solve for this. We have 180,000 students that have to have a device and connectivity. So now we are asking parents to let us know, do they have connection at home? Do they need a device? We have provided over 12,000 devices to the homes. We also just ordered 10,000 devices to support summer school. So there's no one who should be denied the opportunity to learn online. We will provide a device and support those families.
Very good. Superintendent, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the work that you do and for the work that your teachers are doing. This is a really challenging time for everybody, and that can't be seen anywhere more clearly than here at these food distributions, where we have thousands of cars still lining up waiting for some food assistance. So we're asking again that you do donate if you can. HawaiiNewsNow.com is where you can go. We have a special section there where you can help the Hawaii Community Foundation and the Food Bank. For now, we'll take a quick break. You're watching Sunrise on Hawaii News Now. We'll be right back.
So we're doing a couple of things here this morning. First of all, we want to make sure that people have what they need in the now. But at the same time, we're planning for the future because we know the effects of this are going to be long-lasting. Rich Wacker is here from American Savings Bank. And first of all, before we get to that, Rich, there's been a lot of collaboration. How important has it been for different businesses to come together like this?
Well, I think it's critical. So we've had the Business Roundtable, the Hawaii Executive Collaborative, the Chamber of Commerce working together because policymakers are really in a bind. There's so many things they have to work on. And we know we don't want them to get a lot of competing proposals. So we're trying to really collaborate in the private sector to give our best ideas to the governor, to the legislature, so that we can help them make good decisions for Hawaii.
Okay, so how do we get people back to work?
Well, so, you know, it's really devastating when you see the amount of people who are out. We've got a couple 100,000 people out of work. It's going to take time for the hospitality industry to come back. I think you've talked with Bob about that a little bit earlier. And so we're trying to come up with more ideas to bring people back to work while we're waiting for the visitor industry to recover. So we've got a bunch of different ideas that we're floating, whether it's a conservation corps with building on Kupu, a nonprofit, a local nonprofit that does natural resource improvement, invasive species removal, those kinds of things we can extend to all islands. In the financial industry, we've been talking about financial counseling, because we know we have tens of thousands of consumers who are struggling. They're on unemployment, they've lost their job. Right now, we've got moratoria on payments, and the banks are deferring loan repayment, but those things can't go on forever, and people have to be coached through how to deal with it as those things end. So we want to train up hundreds of people to do financial counseling, help people through this, help them know the resources that are available, if they need coaching on staying in their home and making sure they're avoiding foreclosure. How do we help them with that?
Yeah, Rich, one thing you had mentioned was making sure that people have resources. There's going to be a lot of people, unfortunately, that have been doing something for about 20 years, and they're going to have to shift. And so I think a big part of this collaboration is making sure that they're able to transition or to make that kind of a change.
Exactly. So people haven't dealt with this for so long, and they don't know all the resources that are out there. How do we help them make sure they understand what's available to them so that they have the best chance to guide them and their families through this crisis?
What else has American Savings Bank been doing?
Well, we've been very active in our banking with the Paycheck Protection Program. All the banks have worked very hard to make sure we're getting resources to small businesses to keep their people on payroll. We've been doing that. We've got people still working at the bank and in our headquarters, and we've probably bought $250,000 of meals from local restaurants in order to bring that in and help support the restaurants. Our nonprofit partners, we've made a lot of unrestricted donations to them so that they can help their clients and the communities that they're working with to try to get through this the best we can.
Well, we definitely appreciate you doing your part. And again, the theme here this morning is collaboration. It's businesses working together. It's everyone coming together as Hawaii stands together, and that's what this is all about. Guy, over to you.
In the meantime, we want to check back in with Billy B. He's been live at the Hawaii Food Bank in Mapunapuna. Billy.
Thank you very much, Grace. As a matter of fact, this is a secure door, and so let's go ahead and go through the secure door. What happens is this is separate from the rest of the warehouse. What they've got here is all the incoming food, and so we'll bring you a little bit further in. Right now, this is the area where it's all inspected. Everything that is brought into the Hawaii Food Bank is inspected before it goes onto the shelves to go out to be distributed to you. But in here, where all the incoming food comes, let's show you. The shelves are bare. They could use your donations. In the meantime, let's go ahead. Steve Uehara has another nonprofit that needs your help.
Like everyone else, the YMCA of Honolulu has taken a huge hit in the pandemic.
Steve, we had to furlough about 1,200 employees, which was one of the most difficult decisions I've had to make in my 40-year career. We're projected to lose about $3 million this year.
So YMCA officials looked around and they saw a need. They created a childcare program for essential workers.
Really, the key is that it gives them peace of mind. They know that when they drop their kids off at the Y, they're going to be safe, they're going to be healthy, and they're going to have some fun.
We went in and saw firsthand everything is clean. Children are kept distanced from each other, and they say everything is in line with CDC guidelines. On top of that, there's a 1-to-9 ratio of staff to children.
They do everything here. They do temperature checks. My son, he does online classes, so they allow him to get on the internet to fulfill, his class schedule.
Does he like it?
He loves it. He loves coming here. He enjoys Monday through Fridays.
Because of the added requirements, this is more expensive than normal childcare. But the Hawaii Community Foundation has also stepped up to help cover the cost for many parents.
The sad part is that we're going to run out of money. And unless we receive additional grants and donations from the public, we're not going to be able to continue this program.
Roderick says more than 80% of the families in this program require financial assistance, so they definitely need our help.
You can make a donation right now at hawaiicommunityfoundation.org/donate. Or you can check out their PayPal link. And remember, you can donate to the Hawaii Food Bank online as well. We'll be right back. You're watching a special edition of Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
We want to bring in Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami. He's on Kauai today at the Kauai Government Federal Credit Union. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Hey, good morning to you folks. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great today, and I'm glad you're on the show because I wanted to ask you about what the credit union has been doing during this pandemic to help out the community.
Well, Kauai Government Employees Federal Credit Union partnered up with Hawaii Community Foundation, the County of Kauai, under Nalani Bruin and our Office of Economic Development, and they were able to start up an emergency loan program that's designed to be a safety net for all of the folks and organizations that either didn't qualify for federal and state relief and other programs. So this is really the safety net to catch those folks that are falling through the cracks.
We know on Kauai, you have not had the numbers of coronavirus cases that we've seen on the other islands, but that doesn't lessen the economic impact and the impact on your families there, right, Mayor?
Absolutely. The economic impact has just been profound and something that I think many different counties and states and cities has never anticipated. And so as we move along, this type of collaborative effort and thinking outside of the box is so critical. And so we're very thankful that this program was able to get deployed quickly.
Now, you mentioned thinking outside of the box. While I have you here, I got to ask you, as we look to reopen our economies, are there any rules of thumb that you're following? How are you deciding when and how to reopen?
We base all of our decisions on many different factors, but it's designed around the health and safety, our healthcare capacity to be able to handle, caseload if we should see a surge. But it's really a team effort from many different areas of subject matter expertise that comes together. And so, we do everything in a phased response in line with the governor's economic recovery strategy. It just so happens that, because Kauai has had a 0 case counts of confirmed cases, we're able to open up a little earlier based on our timeline and our strategic plan.
Mayor, as difficult as this time has been, I think, for everyone, I wanted to ask you, because our theme today is Hawaii Stands Together, what have you seen on your island that has made you proud to be part of that community and as a mayor of that county?
Seeing people come together, just seeing the spirit of Kauai people who's been through tremendous amounts of disasters and not growing tired and weary and being able to lean on complete strangers. I think that's the most inspiring thing as a mayor. We dream about being able to serve a community like Kauai, where the people and these communities just have the ability to share. It basically just gets back to basic foundational principles and values of taking care of one another, kukua, laulima, everybody coming together when these type of challenging situations arise. That has been truly inspiring to see the courage and the ability to really live aloha.
And heartwarming to hear. Mayor, before I let you go, Guy Hoggy has been asking whether you've been surfing because there's been a South Shore swell lately. So have you?
I went yesterday, but my surgeon is not supposed to know because I'm technically supposed to wait till Friday, but the waves were just beckoning. And, I listened to my body and my doctors too, but I didn't. I took it, I'll put it this way. I took it easy. It's all about moderation, folks.
You better get ready, Mayor. We got a big South coming next week.
Yeah, don't tell your surgeon.
I cannot wait.
All right, don't tell Mayor Kawakami's surgeon. Got it. All right, Mayor, thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate your time during this.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Speaking of the food bank, that's where we find Billy V. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Grace. Thank you very much. We're talking story this morning with Nancy Creedman, who is the CEO of the Domestic Violence Action Center. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having us.
For those that are not familiar with the Domestic Violence Action Center, what do you do?
So we are a full-service agency that responds to all the needs of survivors and their children. So island families who are being harmed by domestic violence. We have attorneys on staff, advocates on staff, helpline, counselors, support groups, legal information, support getting restraining orders. Whatever a person needs when they are afraid and in danger, we will help them.
What happened when COVID-19, how did things change with the pandemic?
Well, we noticed right away that people were not going to be able to make a telephone call. So we added features to enable people to make contact with us. We added a chat feature to our website. We added a text feature to our helpline. And we went 24 hours, 7 days a week, because domestic violence happens any time of day, any day of the week.
Are there any trends that you're starting to see, any statistics that are of note here in this COVID-19 time?
We are seeing a steady demand for help, for safety planning, for information, for support as people are planning to make difficult decisions. They can't make those decisions just yet because they're captive at home.
As you see things transitioning into different phases here, as we get to some are getting back to work, do you anticipate any kind of trends coming up?
We are very worried about a landslide. We think that once people are given the directive is lifted, given the permission to leave their homes, we think people are going to come running out of their homes saying, I was almost killed, my children are traumatized, we can't live like that anymore, we need help. So at the Domestic Violence Action Center and the community, we're going to have to be able to rise to meet that demand.
If somebody needs more information, where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you?
Thank you. They can call our helpline at 531-3771. If they are able to make a telephone call, which I recognize is difficult. If they want to text with us, they can text us at 605-956-5680, or they can go to our website, www.domesticviolenceactioncenter.org. People are working from home, they can be working from home.
All right. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We realized that there was a lot of information and a whole bunch of numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this interview on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com as we start to see some of the other effects of COVID-19, not only the medical, the hunger part and tackling that, but other issues like this as well. We'll take a break, and if you can donate, we'll ask you to donate today as Hawaii stands together. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Lacey. Thank you so much. We're about to see those families come through and accept those food distributions gathered by the Hawaii Community Foundation, the Food Bank, and so many volunteers to make this happen. Again, around 4,000 different households will be served by today's distribution. 1.6 million pounds of food, really astronomical when you think about it. Mayor Kirk Caldwell is with me this morning. Mayor, thank you for being with us. And man, every time we're at one of these and I look out and I see the community in action here, I see your HPD officers assisting traffic, keeping people safe. How do you feel when you see all this happening?
One, it's heartwarming. It's also heart-wrenching. It tells you how much need is out there for folks. We feed approximately 4,000 households come through here twice a week now. That's about 13,000 people every day we do this. And of that amount, about 80% of everyone who comes through is affected by a job loss. And 50%, the household has no jobs whatsoever. And these are households who have had jobs, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 jobs. Many of them worked really hard, multiple jobs, no job whatsoever. And this is where they come to get their food. So one, I feel very proud of everyone, all the volunteers. You think about the Food Bank stepping up, along with the Hawaii Community Foundation, Bank of Hawaii through their foundation putting $1 million, the City and County of Honolulu putting $1 million, the Honolulu Police Department out here in spades, and then all these folks, all these volunteers from so many different organizations. We are a special place.
Yeah.
where we step up and we care about our people, and we're doing incredibly good work here.
And I know that you've asked so much of the citizens and residents, staying home, wearing a mask, following the rules. We still need people to step up, though, especially when we think that we'd like to extend these. We know the need's not going away. What can you ask of folks that are watching today to support the Hawaii Community Foundation and the Food Bank?
Well, one is if you find it within you and you can afford it, please make a contribution to the Hawaii Food Bank or to the Hawaii Community Foundation. Both of them are organizations that meet the demands of the people at the most basic levels. That's one way to do it. Another way is you can come out and volunteer. Now, these programs are going to go on for a while longer until June 9th, and you could maybe help out if you like. But the other thing is, I do have to say, we are where we are today. You know, this eliminating the curve, it's flattened, 0 cases for a couple days. You know, it's all about us wearing our face coverings and practicing physical distancing. As we open up, and yesterday we announced more thawing out of our economy and our community, you can't let your guard down. So much sacrifice. This is about sacrifice. We don't want to go back to where we started. So we got to be really careful.
And Mayor, when we talk about that really quickly before we go, I know you did submit a plan for further reopening. Things like water parks and hair salons could open up as soon as tomorrow. Have you heard back from the governor about that? Where does that lie?
I think we'll hear back. You know, he promises a turnaround within 24 hours, and he's been very good at giving us that turnaround. So I think by mid-afternoon we'll hear back from him, and then I'll sign an order allowing, you know, additional things to open up this coming Friday. You know, for us hair salons, although, you know, I don't have that much hair to cut. And going forward, offices will be opening up next week along with restaurants. And then after that, museums or things are going to open up, and theaters and things like that. And hopefully we'll see a complete opening by the end of June, except for large events. Like, I don't think you're going to be going to Aloha Stadium, sitting close together, or watching entertainment in Aloha Stadium, or bars, but that will come too. But we do need to do it in a measured way, always putting the public's health and safety first, every step of the way.
Very good. Mayor Kirk Caldwell, thank you for being with me this morning, and thank you for all that you do, as well as everybody with this city and all of our volunteers here. Again, a reminder, you can donate to the Hawaii Community Foundation, the Hawaii Food Bank. Just go to hawaiinewsnow.com. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching this special edition of Sunrise on Hawaii News Now.
Welcome back to Hawaii Stands Together. We're here with Paul Yonamine from Central Pacific Bank. Paul, this is really interesting. We're talking about something called Kizun Aloha and how it's related to tourism here in Hawaii. What is this, and how did it get started?
Sure. Thank you, Steve, for having me today. And, you know, before that, I really want to thank Hawaii News Now. You've been a great supporter for our Keep Hawaii Cooking and Mahalo Meals programs that Central Pacific Bank's been embarking on for these past couple of months. But coming back to Kizun Aloha, you know, when the governor, declared the quarantine end of March, we knew right off that that tourism faucet was being turned off. And in particular, you know, given my background living in Japan, I was really concerned about what the implications might be to the Japanese market. You know, the Japanese love Hawaii. There's 1.6 million Japanese who come every year. There's 2 million hula dancers in Japan. I don't know if you knew that. But so it was really important for us, given the quarantine, that we reached out to the Japanese and told them that we're thinking of them. And when things are safe, and, you know, when we have proper health, hygiene, protocol, and standards, that we'd like them to come back. And that was the whole initiative around the Kizun Aloha campaign. It was a communication campaign. It was a real public-private sector collaboration with Hawaii Executive Collaborative, with DBED, HTA, naturally CPB, AIO Foundation, but most importantly, the Japan-Hawaii Travel Association, which has 40 members, including Japan Airlines, ANA. So great public-private collaboration that's also global, because it involved a lot of Japanese companies.
Yeah. And Paul, I think it's great, number one, that we're thinking about this, but also that you're keeping that relationship, that bond together, because of course it makes up such a big part of our tourism. How safely can this be done, and how soon do you think we could safely see these visitors come from?
So, you know, we've done a great job in Hawaii, right? The rate of infections. Actually, in Asia, the infection rate per million is actually a fraction to that of Hawaii. So actually, Asia has done a really good job. Japan just got off of their state of emergency on Monday. And actually, their infection rate is a third of what it is here in Hawaii. Now, in addition to that, they are in process of addressing testing at airports, for COVID-19.
Which is similar to what we want?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is testing in the airport, so before they depart. It hasn't been finalized, but it is in process. And they also have fever screening equipment, at the airports in Japan. And that's exactly what the state is considering right now over here. In addition to that, with the proper tracing technology and also the hygiene protocol at all service establishments in Hawaii, I think we could create a system that would be very safe for not just for the tourists, naturally for our residents and our workers. And in that manner, I think we could start inviting people from Asia, again, where we have very low infection rates.
Yeah. And I know some of this is going to take a little bit of convincing here at home, but how about abroad? I mean, how open are they to the idea of coming here again?
It's really interesting. I'm always inundated with phone calls from my Japanese customers that they're dying to come back here again because they've heard about some of the curfews, the stay-at-home mandates, the quarantine that our government has done here. And so they have a perception that Hawaii is very healthy and safe. And so there's this tremendous interest for them to come back. I've heard from some of the wedding companies here in Hawaii that they haven't had one cancellation. They're all being postponed. And so I think when it opens up, there could be this pent-up demand of people coming back here very quickly. And again, it has to be safe, for our residents, for our workers, and also for the tourists.
Yeah, and we know that you're considering all of that. So thank you.
Absolutely.
It's very, very interesting. And we should say thank you to you and for all the CPB has done.
Well, we have a lot of people who don't have jobs today. And opening up local business is good, but we need the tourists, to really feed that local business dynamic. Or, we run into some real tough times for the economy.
That's
so
right. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. Paul Yamine, Central Pacific Bay. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Kokua-Kalihi Valley has ramped up their outreach efforts to help the community during this pandemic. Lacey Denise shows us how this nonprofit organization is helping hundreds of kupuna each week and supporting our local farmers.
We are in the heart of the food hub here at Kokua-Kalihi Valley, where initially about 500 pounds of fresh produce was collected, but now that's ramped up to about 2,000. And here to talk about that right now is Ka'iulani Odom. Aloha, Ka'iulani.
Aloha, good morning. Yes, this is our food hub. We actually buy produce from local organic farmers, and that goes out into our community in different ways. We do produce bags, we do meals, the produce is available to buy. For the elders today, they're going to get produce bags that will have cooked kalo, they'll have a fresh fruit, we have papaya, and then they'll have some type of greens, whether it's watercress or bok choy or something like that. So that will go to each kupuna's house.
We're standing right outside the Roots Cafe and Market, where they serve up fresh and local meals for people. On top of that, this is where they make hundreds of meals to be delivered to our kupuna in need right now during this pandemic. And here to talk more about this program is Merlita and our superstar volunteers. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. We prepared meals for our seniors, so we're very thankful about the Hawaii Community Foundation because their quick response to the needs of our seniors. This is one of the most critical components of the seniors' health is meals, hot meals, and produce, fresh produce. When you hand out the food, you see the smiles in their face. They say, I can sleep at night, knowing that we have some meals in our table.
The name of our COVID response is Hui Hoaka, and we're really talking about what Kalihi has as abundance. We're thinking about changing the systems around food, changing our systems around health so that all of the community can be healthy. Part of that includes testing. We've been going out into the community and providing COVID testing, but also giving people access to telehealth, addressing their needs around employment, rent, any kind of support, even supporting communities who need grants and support, helping get grants for small business. So the health of the community is really a whole piece, and that's what Hui Hoaka is all about, addressing that in the long term, so it's going to last long before this emergency response.
Thank you very much, Lacey. Now, if you want more information, you want to donate, go to the website. That's kkv.net. We'll be back with more. You're watching Sunrise on Hawaii News Now.
And Girls Club of the Big Island adapted to the pandemic by starting a free meal delivery service. Chad Cabral joins us now live on the phone with more on this. Good morning to you, Chad.
Hey, good morning from Hawaii Island.
Good to hear from you. I wanted to ask you about this free meal delivery program. Who is this for?
Well, we started this community support meal initiative when we got word about the pandemic and the statewide closures. We started with 200 free hot meals that goes out to support our homeless populations, families that have experienced job loss, and of course our keiki and our kupuna. We started with 200 meals out of one kitchen operations based out of our Hilo Boys and Girls Club facility. And we quickly expanded because of need to now, today, 850 meals out of two kitchen operations, one based in Hilo and our Boys and Girls Club kitchen operations based in Kona. And today, we have an announcement. After today's meal delivery, we have reached 30,000 meals delivered during this pandemic, all free.
That is amazing, and amazing to hear because obviously the need is so great there that you have stepped up. How difficult was it for you to be able to increase the number of meals that you were making and delivering, and how did you fund that?
You know, all meals are free of charge for those vulnerable populations and those that need us the most. And through the generous support of nonprofit organizations, our community supporters, Hawaii Community Foundation has stepped up and provided us with over $100,000 to make these meals free for Hawaii Island communities, as well as Hawaii Electric Industries. So it's definitely a community support driven initiative, and we'll provide these meals for as long as we can during this COVID-19 pandemic and even post-pandemic during the period of economic recovery.
Chad, can you tell me about some of the challenges that must be unique to Hawaii Island because it has a smaller population, but it's larger geographically. So there are a lot of people who are kind of far away who still need this, right?
Right. And with the pandemic, no school means no school lunch for kids. And in particular on Hawaii Island, we're the largest island in the state. We're the most geographically spread out and mostly comprised out of rural area, smaller communities. So the challenge for kids especially is accessing meals because of a lack of transportation to get to where meals are being offered. So our program actually produces the hot meal Monday through Friday, 850 meals, and we go out into the communities and deliver to rural area communities throughout Hawaii Island and deliver it right to the doorstep of those who need us the most.
That is incredible, Chad, that you have given out 30,000 free meals on Hawaii Island. We thank you for being on the show and thank you for what you have done for that community.
We have been a nonprofit for over 69 years here on Hawaii Island, and we'll continue to provide as best as we can the support and the resources needed throughout this pandemic. So mahalo nui to everybody, and we'll continue to keep this going. If you want to be a part of it, donate, contribute to the cause, please reach out to us via our website at Boys and Girls Club of the Big Island, bgcbi.org.
bcbgi.org.
bgcbi.org.
Okay. Please help them out. They're doing incredible work there if you can. And Chad, we thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back to Hawaii Stands Together. We're here with Tina Yamaki, the president of Retail Merchants of Hawaii. And you've been talking to a lot of businesses and helping them make that decision whether or not to reopen. How are they doing at this point?
You know, for the ones that were deemed essential businesses in the beginning that were selling food and hand sanitizers and especially toilet paper, they're doing okay. But the non-essential businesses like your apparel, your sporting goods stores, they're kind of suffering right now.
Yeah, and we've talked to a lot of businesses, Tina, where they're debating whether or not it's worth it, right? Because you're still going to have to come in and pay these bills, electricity, staff. I mean, what are some of the things that they're weighing as to whether or not they're going to pull those doors open?
Yeah, we have a lot of businesses right now that are asking themselves, can I afford to reopen? And part of it is, you know, they haven't paid their lease rent for the last 2 months. They haven't paid their taxes. They had to furlough all their employees. So, you know, all of these bills are mounting. And then now with the reopening, it's not just putting some hand sanitizer out and spraying some disinfectant on your store and you're good to go. You know, you really have to do a deep clean. You have to clean more often. You have to have protective equipment for not only the safety of your customers, but also your employees as well. So the cost to open up goes up too.
Is there much of a difference between retailers and restaurants as to who is at a bigger risk or who's taking a bigger economic risk by reopening?
You know, I think if you're a restaurant or if you're a retailer, for any business, we want to have a safe place for our customers and employees to go. If the customers feel that it's safe, they're going to come into our businesses. If they don't feel safe and they don't feel it's clean, they're not going to come.
Okay, so how about us as merchants or people, consumers? You know, what is the message to us as far as getting us back into your stores?
You know, it's to buy local. For a long time, we've been at home and it's been so easy to order online through, you know, mainland companies that have no ties to Hawaii. So it's not supporting the local businesses. You know, so we encourage everyone to buy local. You know, if you need something, go out to the stores and buy it, or buy online and pick it up at the store or have it delivered to you. A lot of local businesses, whether they're a national chain or a local business, you know, when you buy online, you actually are supporting our local businesses because it comes from that store.
Yeah, and you think about this, to add to that point, I mean, we're talking about buying local. Sometimes it is maybe a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, it goes a lot longer away as far as helping the economy as a whole, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you're also supporting your friends, family, and neighbors who are working in our retail stores. You know, we want to get those people that are unemployed back into the stores and employed again.
Yeah, and of course, we want to be doing our part as well. When we go into a store, we want to make sure that everybody else feels safe too, right? So don't be that guy that disrupts everything.
Exactly, and you know, we have been partnering with a lot of people, you know, to make sure that we get that word out. It's, you know, 365 days out of the year, most retailers and businesses are competitors, but this pandemic has kind of brought everybody together, and it's one message, you know, we got to be safe, we got to do this correctly.
Yeah, and again, we all got to do our part because Hawaii stands together. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Tina.
Mahalo.
Back here in the islands, Hawaii News Now teamed up with the Hawaii Foodbank and the Hawaii Community Foundation this morning to help get food in the hands of families impacted by the pandemic. Long lines of cars entered the Aloha Stadium at today's massive food distribution. The Hawaii Community Foundation has supported the food bank in distributing more than 1.6 million pounds of food in these distributions, but their reach goes far beyond food assistance. Joining us now is Michelle Kahani, the Vice President of Community Grants with HCF. Thanks so much, Michelle, for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, this pandemic really has made life tough for a lot of people who lost their jobs and are worried about their next meal. How severe is the need right now, and do you think we'll be able to meet it?
Right now, we've really done the best that we can to meet the needs. I think the Community Foundation is in a has a unique vantage point and has been able to deploy resources to folks who have been waiting for unemployment. We've been able to source the food banks to get resources out to community. And so while we see that need escalating, we've also seen a tremendous amount of giving for folks taking care of one another. And we hope to see that growing and continuing to get better in the days to come.
You're also stepping up to help students in distance learning as well. Can you explain how HCF is playing a role in that?
Yes, we just launched in partnership with First Hawaiian Bank a scholarship for students from the Department of Education who will be participating in preparing for college readiness over the summer. We launched a $2 million scholarship program where students will be able to access those resources, not just for school dollars, but for wraparound services to help them through these difficult times.
You know, Michelle, all of this outreach is possible because of collaborative efforts. Who are the private partners that have stepped up so far to help? And what kinds of resources are coming in because of their support?
You know, we've received resources from a broad spectrum of our donors, from other private foundations. We are a 100-year-old foundation with deep roots here in Hawaii, so the giving across the state has been tremendous. We have major partners in both First Hawaiian Bank and Bank of Hawaii who made a significant contribution, as well as Stupski Foundation and so many other foundations who have come together to help us in the Resilience Fund. So it's really been a collective action and an effort by many across the state and even from outside Hawaii.
And we are taking steps to rebuild. Can you talk about the 4 phases of resiliency? Which phase are we in right now, and how soon will we move into the next one?
Right now, we find ourselves still in rapid response. In phase 1 was really focused on getting PPE and testing out funded in community. Phase 2 was about rapid response in emergency grant dollars and food support. We're still there in that phase. We've shift into phase 3, which is around longer term recovery and stabilization. We know in phase 3, we will focus on access to capital for low cost dollars in loans to community loan funds that can help families, nonprofits, and small business. But we know there's more. And so the outreach to the nonprofit sector has been ongoing as we prepare ourselves for phase 3 of this fund.
And yes, as you mentioned many times, there are people in need in this community. And where can they go to get help? And where can people in the community go to offer help?
So right now on our website, if you're interested in being a volunteer, there are many opportunities. You can check out our Hawaii Community Foundation.org website. But to make contributions or for more information on the fund, HawaiiResilienceFund.org.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle Kahani of HCF. We appreciate all you're doing to help our community. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Mahalo.